Hello, everyone, and welcome. We'll be getting started here in just 1 second. Thanks for your patience and look forward to connecting about 5 minutes. But thank you so much. Look forward to talking to you guys shortly. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for your patience. For those of you who've been hanging around for a little bit, getting ready to get started here in just 1 second. Still got a few folks trickling in, but cool. Let me get this rolling, and we'll be off and running. So today we're going to be talking about this. Hello, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about Toolbox Talks. For those of you that have just joined for one of these, pleasure to have you. There's a lot that SafetyHQ can do. For those of you that may be existing clients, this is going to be more so of a feature overview, not necessarily like a continued education. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us through our support line, or contact your trainer if you're looking for some more information from there. But as a whole, we're going to be talking about specifically Toolbox Talks today. We're going to talk a little bit in the way of best practices, and maybe a little bit into SafetyHQ and what our feature set can offer. So don't want this to be a full safety sales pitch as a whole. We want you guys to hopefully walk away with some educational content here, maybe some ideas, maybe some thought processes to keep in mind as you go forward, building out, maybe your Toolbox Talk processes, tailgate talk processes, whatever you may call them. So from there, let's get started. Let's get rolling here. So I'm Eric. I've been working with SafetyHQ for a while. For those of you guys that are familiar, SafetyHQ was previously harness software, so it had been around for a while before I came to Foundation Software. I've been involved with that process for a couple of years now, and it is firmly within the Foundation Software suite of products. Have no worries though, if you're not a Foundation Software user, you don't need to be. This software works for any and everybody. If you guys are interested in more information on SafetyHQ, this is a progressive web app, can be used in the mobile, offering a whole suite of products, whether that be your inspections, JSAs, Toolbox Talks, which we're going to highlight today, certification tracking, incident management, document storage, equipment management, and more. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or anyone through the Safety or Foundation Software hotline, or visit mysafetyhq.com. Well, what are we talking about today? I think the first things to really focus on here are getting some best practices for your Toolbox Talk so that you can improve them, get some good processes going, and really make sure that these connect with your team as a whole. So we're going to be talking about a handful of points today, and then we'll probably jump into SafetyHQ, show you a little bit about kind of how we do things, and whether or not you use our software. It gives you some ideas on how you could potentially, improve your processes, or if you're interested, give us a call and we can see what we can do for you as well. But I think the first thing that we need to talk about when it comes to SafetyHQ, and more specifically Toolbox Talks today, is how you're doing these items. It's a good idea to have a lot of these practices in place, right? You might want to have really good expectations or really good intentions when it comes to safety, but I think it really begins with ensuring that these items are actually getting done, right? So you got to have a process in place. You got to track and monitor that they're being done, because if they're not, the first step is if they're not being done, the team's not necessarily going to follow through with these items. So ensuring that you're doing regular safety activities, having some kind of measure in place that you can track and measure completion, measure regular participation, is key to developing a safety culture throughout your organization. Now, the second one is going to be simplifying procedures, right? We talk about ensuring that this team needs to get these items done. If this is going to slow down their day-to-day participation in production tasks, this is going to extremely and adversely affect their ability to perform safety activities as well. So we want to make sure that these processes are simple, easy to understand, and that the team is very well aware of what the expectations are when they're completing them. And that all kind of brings us to this third point here, which is safety as a component of culture. What you need to do is make sure that you guys are putting an emphasis on safety as a whole. So I know we got a myriad of different job titles here and positions and so forth, but I think the first and most important thing that you guys need to keep in mind is if safety is not important for you, if safety is not a point of emphasis for the company as a whole, it's not going to be a point of emphasis, or it's not going to be a priority for your team out in the field. So the first thing that you can do, you can say you want to be safe. You can say that you want to do all these things to actually, provide, it goes beyond providing PPE, but, you can provide the blueprint. But if you don't make sure that these things are done regularly, you don't put an emphasis on this from the top, the team's going to stray away from these. Safety activities aren't going to be done. And, from there, you're going to have a whole bunch of other issues, whether it be, incidents, accidents, OSHA violations, rising workers' comp costs, or, simply retention issues. Employees want to stay and work in a place that they know they're going to be safe. And, they're going to get home every day with no concerns from there. So starting with that at the top is key. But once you've done that, you also need to make sure that these processes are well organized, right? You can't get enough help if you're anything like the clients and prospects that we have out there right now. Every industry is dealing with it. We're dealing with it, especially when it comes to, our support and training and everybody. We're having a hard time finding people, right? We want to do everything we can to hire and find people. I know all of our clients, especially in the construction space, are looking at that issue as well. So making sure that you can stay organized and get the most out of the people that you do have working on your safety tasks is key, right? For some of you guys that are out there in a safety specific role, kudos to you. Your company has gone up and, above and beyond and really placed an emphasis on this. However, whether it be a smaller company or a mid-sized company, and you guys are a safety, your safety agent or, main contact at that location, you might be doing 4 or 5 other things as well too. So the key is really staying organized here to make sure that you can follow through, ensure completion, do all those other things that we mentioned as far as making sure your safety program is running efficiently. From there, I think what's really important to keep in mind too is that we continuously improve. Now, this is a huge component, and this is something that SafetyHQ can do, and we won't talk to it as much from the Toolbox Talk side, but continually looking to see what's improving. Get feedback from the team. See how you can make forms less complicated. You see how you can make their day-to-day safety activities consolidated into one easy-to-use item. Find different ways to find relevant topics or procedures, or find different avenues to keep the team engaged on a safety process as a whole. And that ties in really nicely with this last component, or this last item that we're going to highlight before we start showing some pieces of the software here as well, which is using deficiencies or using your near misses as a learning opportunity, right? It's okay to fail, and that's to an extent here, right? I think every issue or every near miss you have, every deficiency you spot on a site is a really good opportunity for your team to realize, hey, this isn't just hypothetical. This can really happen to me. This can really happen to one of my coworkers, one of my friends on the site. So keep an open dialogue with your team. Make sure they're accessible. They're open to having some of those discussions, being able to self-report without consequences if they have a near miss, and then discussing those deficiencies in a place like a Toolbox Talk, right? Bring them all around, make sure, hey, so-and-so happened, every culture is going to be different. So whether or not we get into actually sharing, names or exact incidents, that's going to be up to you. But as a whole, those are relevant topics. Those near misses are invaluable for your team to continue to improve. Use those in your Toolbox Talks. Use the deficiencies or issues that you see either within your project site. Maybe, you're a sub and you see other subs potentially creating issues from a safety perspective out there. Use all of these items that are really relevant, close to home, to continue to improve and to create learning opportunities for your team as a whole. But how do you do that, right? That's the $1 million question. So SafetyHQ, that's where we're going to focus a lot of this attention on today, as far as actually utilizing the software and beginning in here. But this can be done in a couple of different ways. I don't want you guys to think by any means SafetyHQ is the only way to improve your safety procedures. It's the only way to provide strong Toolbox Talks. I would say more than anything, start with something. But if you can't check off all those items on the list before, as far as ensuring completion, simplifying the procedure, make this easy to use for the team, and continuing to improve, you might want to look into some other alternatives. Again, there's a few out there. We got some really good solutions here, and I'll show you a little bit about what we can do to hopefully at least give you ideas. Or if you want to see some more, maybe go on a full demo, please let us know. We'd be happy to do so. But as an example of something we can do from a Toolbox Talk perspective here, and I know we only got a half hour, so we're going to just buzz through and just really skim through the top of Toolbox Talks and what SafetyHQ can do. The first and foremost thing is keeping the team connected. SafetyHQ, so as I mentioned before, this is a mobile app. So I'll show you a little bit about how this is going to look on the mobile experience. If I'm on a phone, it's going to look just like this. If I'm on an iPad or my web experience, it's going to look somewhat like this. So we try and make this easy to use, and I'm speaking for SafetyHQ in particular here. We want to make this easy to use, simple to access, and really user-friendly for the team. We don't want to slow them down by any means. If this doesn't help save time, make processes more efficient, make things simpler, then we're not doing our job. We might as well go back to paper at that point. We got to look at some other options. So as far as SafetyHQ is concerned, though, what we can do is we can actually use not only the library that we have in here, over 150 Toolbox Talks, English and Spanish. These are all construction related. You can also add your own, right? So, and I encourage this amongst all clients. Don't lean on just what you have. Don't lean on just what you have from maybe a vendor or a provider. Don't lean on just what we have. Add and build out that library. Those Toolbox Talks should be ever expanding, continuously improving. And that's the way that you keep relevant content. That's the way that you keep your team engaged as you continue. Now, a lot of people ask me, hey, Eric, where can we get some of these topics? Well, number one, the internet. There's a ton of really great resources out there. Many of them are free. You can check through OSHA. A lot of our clients have really strong success through their local trade organization. Check with your workers' comp, organization as well. We also notice, speaking of workers' comp, give them a call and tell them, hey, do you guys offer any kind of discounts on a safety software, anything like that? Oftentimes you'll see a credit or a stipend that they'll be able to provide so that you can continue making improvements as well. So that's one thing that we've really been excited to see from our partners throughout the insurance industry, is that they really are committed to helping you improve as well. So there's a whole bunch of places out there to get these talks. We're continually improving these and adding items here as we go, but just something to keep in mind. There's a lot of places to go and review. But in SafetyHQ specifically, I'll go ahead and pick wire rope cable clips as an example. We have a whole bunch on here. We can demonstrate this. We can make this an active live demonstration, keep the team truly engaged. We can keep the team engaged regardless of what their primary language is. So you can see I can go from English to Spanish, Spanish to English. So it really makes it relevant for the team regardless of what their primary language is. We don't want anybody to be excluded from safety, just because of a language barrier. So you have some opportunities like that. And when we talk about simplifying and making things easy, if I've decided that wire rope cable clips are what we want the team to discuss, whether that be today, whether that be a week from now, SafetyHQ actually gives you the ability to share a Toolbox Talk. So you'll see here I've hit the share icon on the left side. I can pick a couple of different groups here, and these are customizable. One of the features that you'll notice from SafetyHQ as a whole is that this is extremely customizable. Everybody has their own safety program. Everyone has their own safety processes and procedures. So the really nice benefit here is that we can customize this to your needs, whether that be custom forms, custom JHAs, all included in your monthly subscription. Or, if we want to do something as simple as customizing groups such as roles in here like foreman, crew leader, what have you. But back to what I was discussing, we've selected, say, hey, I want all my foremen to discuss wire rope cable clips. Maybe this is something we want to discuss immediately, or maybe that this is something that we want to discuss, I don't know, next Monday for our weekly Toolbox Talk. We'll pick 8 o'clock. Great. Now my team, foremen specifically, are going to get a notification on 6/5 at 8 o'clock, both via email and within the app in SafetyHQ. That notification will let them know, focus them in right on what they need to complete. They'll see an unmarked selection that they need to select in their inbox, pick it. This takes them right to the screen that they need to perform. So another nice piece here too is habits, right? So I'm going to take kind of a break from the software. This is a key component as well. So when we're talking about scheduling out Toolbox Talks, teams say, yeah, we do them, maybe not every job, maybe just jobs that we're required to, what have you. Building those healthy habits as a safety organization, as a safety culture, are critical. If the team knows everything that we do Monday morning, first thing we do is a safety discussion, they're going to expect it. They're not going to fight it. That'll be part of their everyday routine. They'll embrace it, and you'll get a lot more buy-in, a lot more feedback, and quite a bit more safe employees out on your site. So make it part of your schedule, and you can do that right here by sharing these and scheduling these out in SafetyHQ. But as you've noticed, I selected this item. It took me right to my screen. We make this really simple and easy to use by having really key indicators here. You'll notice this big yellow button anywhere in SafetyHQ is our action item. We like to pick a project as well, so that way for record keeping, we can always tie this. But again, SafetyHQ is very customizable and flexible. The team will then organize, manage all these items, discuss wire rope cable clips, organize, how we're going to demonstrate this, what have you. Once they've completed the demonstration, once they've had a nice, healthy discussion on this, you can actually keep a strong record right here by completing a signature. I'll pick, Josh Phillips, for example. And the nice piece here too is that this is an open search. So based on if we just start with a couple letters from an employee name, it'll pull them up right here. We can complete what we need. So we got Kelly and Josh here. I'm giving some goofy signatures. They can sign right on their mobile device. We can also take a photo too if we want to take a photo for attendance, or maybe for some reason you're in a hurry, you want to do it on a paper sheet. We still take that photo, but we can tie all these to the record as well. And then finally, submit. I can't tell you how many prospects, how many clients we have say, yeah, we do Toolbox Talks, but I don't know where they're at. They get done. They don't necessarily make their way back to me, what have you. Again, this comes down to simplifying the process. In SafetyHQ, they just hit 2 buttons. It's done. It's saved in the cloud right here. We can review this at any time. You can see Josh and Kelly's signatures as we've had. And then we can also produce a PDF here. And I don't know, this should say, I think I got a clean screen up here, but we'll go to the monitor as a whole, make sure you can see that. Great. We can even customize this form with your name, your logo, and produce a nice form that we can share with anyone who might need it, whether it be a GC, customer, whomever. And you have those records automatically saved, automatically organized for you. So that's a big key as well, right? You might get a whole bunch of Toolbox Talks from a whole bunch of different organizations, but heaven forbid an incident or an accident occurs and you need that record keeping to help you go out and review and say, hey, I know so-and-so that was involved in this incident or was involved in this near miss, was involved in the Toolbox Talk, discussing just that topic. Well, SafetyHQ at least makes it easy. You can select that by project. You can select by Toolbox Talk topic. You can also search by employee or who submitted this. So we have some flexibility. We can use any and all of these items. In this case, I'll pick maybe this AMD bridge project and say I want to see all of my Toolbox Talks for the month of May. I can provide those quickly and easily. So again, helping the team to get back to the task that they need to. We can share these as needed, PDF them, email them, whatever we need. But the biggest part is these are organized and easy to find. So even if you're not using a software, even if you don't anticipate using a software, find the method that works best for you. Make sure that you have a method in place that you can retrieve these Toolbox Talks once they're completed, and then have them organized in whatever manner works best. Most people select project. Some people like it by date. Some people also do it by foreman. We can do it by all of those here in SafetyHQ, but it just really depends on who's going to be asking you for this information and what you need most frequently. That might be your best topic as far as finding an organization method. And then from there, when we get into the report section, Toolbox Talks are completed. We want to see how the team is performing. What we can do right here is set a rule in SafetyHQ. So in this case, I have a lot of test data. But we want admins to complete this once per week. Great. If I want to check on the current week, I can. If I want to check another date range, also a flexible option for me. But I look through here. Again, I got a lot of test users in here. They're not doing particularly well. Nobody's really doing what they need to do. Now I have, I've just completed that Toolbox Talk. You can see here's the date in which it's been completed, and it's going to select me as filled. And then if I pick everybody here, it will skip me. So making this nice and easy to alert the team. In this case, I want to say, hey, I want everyone who has not completed the rule in the current week to get a notification. Again, right through their notification inbox and their email. or I can pick some individuals here. If I want to pick Dylan and Derek, maybe include a manager as well. I'll pick their manager as Paul. Paul will also get a notification letting him know that Derek and Dylan need to complete that task. We want to make sure that we follow through on these items, that we're getting these toolbox talks completed, and that the team knows, that we will be checking on this. We will be following up and making sure that these items are completed on a regular basis. Really making safety a point of emphasis. And then finally, in SafetyHQ, we also have some options as far as submission graphs. I see a lot of people doing different incentive programs, which is a really good idea, especially if you guys are just getting your safety program up and running. That really shows that, that is an important part of your culture, that's something you emphasize. And there's no better way to emphasize it than incentives, right? I've seen people do gift cards. I've seen people do lotteries. I've seen people do safety bucks. We've seen a whole bunch of everything out there. But a really nice way to do that is organizing, track, and monitoring completion here as well too. So I can see what's completed when. We got everything we need. We can jump right into that at any point in time. But that's SafetyHQ's version of Toolbox Talks. We like to keep this really nice and simple. Again, we don't want to overcomplicate this. Simple, organized, easy to manage as a whole. We do have a lot of other options here in SafetyHQ as well. So if you guys are doing things beyond Toolbox Talks and you guys are interested in learning more, and again, I encourage you to do so. I'll put some information up at the end of the slide here if you want to connect further on SafetyHQ. But SafetyHQ, just as a little buzz on some other features that we can provide. We have fully customized forms, right? So we realize that, hey, either if you're a specialty trade and you need to provide a different JHA to different GCs, we can do that. We can include different copies in here. We also have a number of templates in here that you can work off of. We can continue to customize, change, and update these forms as you go too. So just as I mentioned, you should always be looking to continuously improve. Your safety program should be continuously evolving. If you need to ask a different question on a JHA, you need to ask a different question on your safety inspection, we can certainly do those items. From all of these items, and I don't want to dig too deep into them, we can take photos, do markups. All of these forms are adaptive so that if somebody fills out, let's just say an accident report, for an example, based on the inputs that they select, I'll pick one here as an example. Based on the inputs that they select, the form is going to adapt and change. We realize that, when safety goes bad, when there is an incident, when there is an accident, when there is something that's, very serious, it's a high stress moment. So last thing we want to do is bombard that team with paperwork in an already stressful experience as it is. Here, we select the related items, you answer question by question, and the form will continue to guide you to items that are related to that. So one of the things we pride ourselves on, that's one of the things we see everywhere in SafetyHQ. We can track and manage corrective actions, deficiencies, get reports on leading indicators. We can go ahead and track and manage SDSs at any point here too. Easy to review, access by any member of the team wherever they're at, whatever they need. And then additionally, we can do, lessons, certifications. We can require the team to take quizzes. We can send out certification notifications when people are about to expire on, whether it be, their first aid CPR, whether you want to do this for an in-house safety training, what have you, for the certifications. You can send these out, you can track these and monitor them. We'll keep you notified with, automatic updates in here, as well as areas for you to view photos of cards, track certifications for individuals, all those items. Additionally, we have some other features in SafetyHQ, such as equipment tracking, so we can track and manage maintenance schedules, document storage for things like your safety manual, and then finally, obviously, the incident reports. This rolls all the way up to your OSHA 300A, and this can help track and manage, incidents that we might have out in the field, route these from appropriate people to who needs them, keeping the team nice and organized during these stressful moments whenever you need it most. So I'd be happy to show you more about SafetyHQ. I'll pull this guy up real quickly here. It should be, we'll come back a couple of slides. So if you're interested, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to connect. That's my email there. We also have a phone number here. I did mention that I would keep this to a half hour here, so I want to take this last couple of minutes for questions. We do have some really good insight from all of our clients and team. If it's a question related to building out your safety program, more specifically Toolbox Talks, we'd be happy to help you. Or again, feel free to reach out to me at any time and we can go from there. But we do have a couple of questions here. Will we be sending out this presentation afterwards? Yes. So Sandy, keep an eye out. We'll be sending an email out after this presentation. We should have some updates for you so that you can access this afterwards once you got this completed. But again, if there's anything that you miss here to that person asking that question, happy to connect for a personal demo or what have you as well. We use payroll for construction for payroll, where our employees and customer names autofill when we need to add them. So the nice piece, and I told you that you don't necessarily need to be a foundation software user, but the nice piece about having foundation software is that your customers and your jobs will sync in automatically on a nightly basis. So that's an automatic update. You'll always have a fresh employee list, a fresh job list. And the nice piece is the status of those jobs is going to change as well. So if you have an inactive employee, go to active. You have a job, go from not yet started to active, or from active to completed. All of those things are going to change, automatically updating, saving you, again, more time and effort, making this a really easy to manage safety process for you as well. I got about 4 minutes. Yes, so I got one question about JHAs briefly. I would be happy to do that. I want to keep this to Toolbox Talk specifically though, but I would be happy to either send you a specific video on it, show you some examples of that, or again, shoot me an email. We can take as much time or as little time as you want to, dedicate to it to learning a little bit more about JHAs, how we can customize that, and how we can produce those in the system. But I do think JHAs are one of, if not our strongest features within SafetyHQ. So definitely give us a ring and we'd be happy to review. Let's see. Are completed Toolbox Talks organized by company or by project? That's a great question that I didn't necessarily highlight. Let's pull SafetyHQ back up here. These can be organized a couple of different ways, right? And that's the beauty of SafetyHQ, is you have the ability to organize this a bunch of ways. So if I get in here, let's go to completed Toolbox Talk. Here's my list. We can organize these at any time by job, by project, by who submitted them, by date, by topic, by company, by division. We can review all of those completed items by any mix of these filters so that you can get the information you need quickly and efficiently. And you also have this universal search to find what you need wherever. So good part here, especially for those companies that are divisionalized, maybe you got a couple of different business units, we can certainly accommodate all of those for you regardless of what you need here too. So easy to track and manage wherever you're at as a whole. And the really nice part too is for foundation software users that are companies that use companies and divisions. Whether you do or you don't, we can organize those from multiple databases to one, or one database to one company to one company. Really flexible as far as how we set up that integration for you and keep that information updated. So, but again, not a necessity. I also have, are there any discounts for foundation software users already? Yes, we do. We certainly offer discounts for payroll for construction, foundation software users, or any of our sister brands, as well as McCormick estimating systems, as well as the Edge estimating as well. So we'll take a look at your product mix, and we definitely want to offer you some discounts and incentives for staying with us and your continued loyalty. I got one more question here. I know we're kind of coming up to it time-wise here. So can this be managed? For each company and division, do I need a separate license? That's what's really unique about SafetyHQ as a whole, is we do one license for your company as a whole. So if you have multiple divisions, regardless of how many users you have, it's a set monthly price based on your company size as a whole. We put you in a tier, get an idea roughly of how many folks that you got. We take an estimate of usage from there, and then you don't have to decide, you don't have to worry about adding and removing users on a weekly or monthly basis, what have you. Hey, this guy left, this guy came back. she joined the company, she doesn't need access for these 3 months, whatever. You can have as many admins, as many users as you can. And the nice piece about that too is we can limit this based on who needs to see what. So things like incident reports, if you don't want the team to see, the average brand new employee to see incident reports that have been completed, you can block them out of that area. And if you want to get as granular as I only want my project managers to see, JHAs that they've completed for their own projects, you can do things like that. So really flexible. We want to make this as accessible to any member of your team as you need possible. But again, feel free to give us a call. I'll be happy to give you some more information. And thanks for stopping by for this quick half-hour overview of Toolbox Talks on SafetyHQ. Thanks all. You have a great day and hope to hear from you soon. Take care.